it's just you and I, and we're ready to go, right?
You're wearing all the hats today.
Yeah, I'm wearing all the hats. It's gonna be fun though. Happy Onewheel Wednesday, everyone. If you're logging in, if you're watching, you'll see all the clunkiness. But Allie, if they're listening, they will have no idea, right?
No, I think it's going to go smoothly.
Yeah. Do you listen to podcasts? Is that like something you do normally?
Sometimes it's not like a part, like I don't do it like every week or like any consistency, but I do enjoy listening to some podcasts or definitely on like road trips or something because you don't want to listen to music the whole time or.
Yeah. I rarely watch podcasts though, so I feel like if I wasn't on this podcast, it would be one of the only ones I like physically watch. So
Yeah.
I just like
I
associate
there's
podcasts with listening.
Yeah, you really only need the words. So
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Okay, so we're excited to be here. It's One Will Wednesday on the Scot Mendenhall and Friends podcast. Today, we're the friends. Scot Mendenhall and his whole crew are in Arkansas, where Dirt Surfers is, and they are meeting with Nick and Rachel Payne and talking about the upcoming event in May. So we're going to talk, Allie, we're going to talk about what races we will expect to see you at this year. But since we're already talking about Dirt Surfers, will you be there?
of course I love dirt surfers. That's probably the most fun race because you're just in your own zone and like hitting the trails by yourself and the trails are so much fun there. Like that's a great race. Yeah.
It
So
is.
I definitely am looking forward to that one and want to do that one.
And what? What was that last part?
And I do want to do that one. There are definitely some races I'm not gonna do this year. Uh, not quite my focus this year.
Okay, I want to hear more about that. We're gonna circle back to that, but I've been seeing like posts and things on Instagram about how long January has felt. Today's January 31st. So if you're
It's
listening to
still
this,
still January.
it's still January. If you're listening to this like in March, it's totally fine. But it's January 31st, 2024. And I've seen posts on Instagram about how long January has felt. Allie, can you relate to that? Do you feel like January has been long?
It has. We Kyle and I just came back from Hawaii and we were there through New Year's, and so that feels like it's been a while ago, and that was just recently. So,
So you were there for most of January?
we left right after Christmas, like one of those few days after Christmas, and then came back like the 5th of January.
Okay.
And it feels
That's
like that was a
awesome.
few months ago, and it
Yeah.
so
And it wasn't that long
January has
ago.
felt long.
January has felt long. So how was Hawaii? What did you do there?
It was so much fun. Hawaii is so beautiful every time I go, and I have a friend that lives on the Big Island, so I got to see her towards the end of the trip. But the Stokemokes crew invited Kyle and I out and a few other riders to do this few races through Oahu, Big Island, and Maui. So we had some filmers there too. We had Donkey Time there and Master Perch. So we
Oh
had
my gosh.
the pilot, and then we got the camera following us around, and we just got some good footage of like some scenic spots and spots they ride around there, and we got to do some like little racing. Some of it was on Strava, some of it was head to head, but I was the only girl there, so I was really competing with the guys, and it was Kyle, Sindit Sam, Hiram, Jafari, and Adonijah, and I think and Noah Build. Noah Build was
Okay.
there.
Nice.
So it was a small little crew of us, but it was fun.
What was it like being the only girl?
I was hoping that there'd be some like people from the island like popping out to race, and I get to
Yeah.
meet them. There was some riders I did get to meet, but they're just like they don't race or anything. So it was weird, I guess, because I wasn't expecting to like win any trophy or anything. I thought I was really just competing in the whole thing. But they did have women's trophies for some of them, which
Oh,
was cool.
I love that.
But
Automatic
one of
win.
I know, right? I was like, "Ooh, how did I do this one? Wow."
That's
it was
awesome.
it was a tough one, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I did try to keep up with the boys, and there was one race that was like, I was set. I think there was. Don't quote me on this because there'll probably be a video out. I want to say there was 6 of us going, or maybe something like that. So yeah, 6 and top 3 move on. So,
Okay.
or maybe
Yeah.
5 and top 3 move on. I can't remember
Cool.
how it was. but I almost got third in that. Like literally right at
Wow.
the end, lost it, and I was like, dang, I almost went to the from sim. I guess that was semifinals, or I don't know how they did it.
That's
I
okay.
literally do,
I'm tracking. You were
but
keeping up with the boys. That's all that,
I was
like,
keeping
that's the
up pretty
story.
much. What
That's
happened was
awesome.
honestly, I was like, "Woo, this is getting tiring. I kind of need to take a breath." And I didn't realize I was right at the end, and I like stood up, like got out of my like riding pose to like rest my legs, and I was like, "Oh, the ending's right there." And then I went to go like really fast, and then he was John from Hawaii. He went and like passed me, and I was like, "Dang, John, you're flying!" But
That's
I
awesome.
uh, I would have
That's
lost it the
awesome.
next one because there's no competing with Jafari, Adonijah, and Kyle. They're way too fast.
Yeah, and for Jafari and Adonijah, that's their stomping ground. So I'm sure they were excited to
Yeah,
host everyone and show like what their turf is like.
pretty much. And then they have like a little course built on their property too. It's like a little downhill course, which is pretty fun and flowy. So we got to ride that too.
That sounds fun. There's someone in the
This one,
chat, Cody Nakanula. He said that it was nice meeting you. I don't know if you remember him,
oh
but
yeah,
he's
he
in the
was really.
chat. He gave us $5. We have money
Oh,
already, Allie, from people watching.
woo!
We didn't even say we there's a way to give money on here, which is you can give
I
if
didn't
you
even
want to.
know.
It all goes back into the channel, which is super fun. But yeah, he
Yeah,
said $5 was so sick meeting you guys.
Cody's so sweet. So what happened was we were on a Wahoo doing the race, and it was 6 miles of pure mud. I'm not kidding. It was
Wow.
impossible to ride through. There was maybe a mile accumulative of riding, and
Wow.
the so at first it's fun because you're taking off with like mass start with everyone, and then at one point I finally like got lost. Almost everyone pretty much passed me, and I was slipping around in the mud, and like anytime I needed to pick up my board I was just like falling because it was so extremely muddy. And I kept having to stop and clean off my board, and then I literally at one point like leaned on a tree and was like, "Please don't cry, like I'm about to cry." And then
Oh.
I look up and I see Kyle's helmet out in the distance, and I was like, "There's hope." So I start like going forward, and Kyle starts coming this way, and like he stopped to like kind of just ride with me and have more
Yeah.
fun with the. And then that's when I really got to meet Cody, and
Okay.
I believe Randy was the other one. But we would like take breaks to clean off the mud off of our boards, and then there'd be like Cody coming up while we're sitting there resting, and then he's ready for a break, and then we get to like chat and like clean the mud off, and then go on another keep riding until we can get through the 6 miles of mud.
Oh my gosh. So it's super muddy here right now in Minnesota. I'm in Minnesota. Allie, do you want to say where you are? Where are you logging in from today?
Right now, I'm in San Diego. It is nice and sunny
I
outside,
can
but we're
tell the
getting.
sun is like shining on your face.
I know, tomorrow we're getting some rain through the weekend, and I think even next week some. So
Wow. Well,
we
in
much need.
Minnesota, yeah, much needed. In Minnesota, it's been warm. So we had like a really, really cold spell when there was a winter storm all throughout the US. But we had a cold spell, so there was snow and the ground was frozen. And now today it's literally 50 degrees. It's amazing. I'm actually like even kind of hot in this sweatshirt, but the mud, it's so muddy. So when it comes to riding in the mud, like obviously you have a story that you felt like you were failing, but what can you say about riding in mud, and what do you think made a difference for the other riders? Because it seems like, did you have a different tire? Obviously, like a fender, no fender. Like what was all of that like?
I had a fender. A lot of people did not have a fender, but even with my fender, my board was covered because you're like literally falling off the board, and then your
Yeah,
feet are mud.
trying to get back
Uh,
on.
Honestly, it's the worst. I hate riding in the mud. I really struggled with it so much that I don't have much tips for how to ride in the mud or anything. I Fender is definitely necessary. That will keep your board the
Did
cleanest,
all the
and
other guys have fenders on?
not everyone, but
Okay. Oh yeah, you just said that. Okay.
it has a lot of people did, I believe. And then I don't know what the tire situation was looking like for everyone. I had I think the performance tire from
Okay.
Onewheel Future Motion. I believe that's the board I sent, and I maybe a more treaded tire. I don't really know how.
Do
I
you
don't know how to go.
think do you think it was a matter of, like, staying on your board? Did you watch a lot of those guys stay on their board a little bit better? And so, because
Uh,
I know what you mean, the mud, like, cakes on the foot
yeah,
pads when
and
you
on
get
my
off and on
tire,
and off and on.
it's not spinning anymore because there's so
Oh
much
my
mud.
gosh.
So I don't even know if it's staying on your board in that scenario. At a certain amount of mud, it's about staying on your board because you can almost just like slide through it. And
Okay,
like I've
yeah.
been through some ORL races where it's like a little wet in spots. Dirt surfers, there's
Yeah,
that one where it's kind of wet, and those are really about staying on your board because you can slide through a small patch of mud easily. But when
right.
there's like
6
miles of
miles of
mud,
mud.
I have no clue how, like, I would get to a point where I'm like sliding and then it just like my tire digs in, or like
Yeah,
I really I don't know. And then the board's so heavy and I try to pick it up and make one step. It's like slide nation, yeah.
yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, mud is no fun. Okay, let's move on. We did plan a few things, Allie, to talk about. But for those who are watching and don't know you or are new to the one wheel scene, maybe even the one wheel racing scene, who are you? How did you get, like, what's your one wheel story? I know most of it, but for those who are watching and maybe don't know, why don't you share a little bit about yourself? And then I would love in the chat, Allie and I want to know what your one wheel story is. So how did you find one wheel? What do you ride? Why do you love it? Are you racing this year? Because it's going to help us in our conversation as we go on. So Allie, why don't you share a little bit about your one wheel story?
Yeah, so I am from Texas originally, from Galveston County, Houston area. I had ridden a one wheel while living there, but it wasn't quite like something I would go out and go do, like, or anything, because I had a friend that had one pretty much, and it I didn't was not confident with riding it. Anyways, I moved to San Diego. I am still riding one wheels lightly. I didn't own a board yet. And then I went outside to go ride and saw like maybe 6 people on a one wheel in downtown San
Wow.
Diego. And I was like, whoa, never seen this many of these boards in one spot. So I chased them down very slowly. And it was the Wheel Fun Stuff crew and a few
Oh,
other
that's
people,
awesome.
a bunch of people from San Diego. And they're throwing out words like Wheel Fun Stuff, Float Life, all these words. And I'm like, what are y'all talking
Yeah.
about? Like, I have no clue. And then I find out it's all about the whole community of stuff and how deep it is. And that was very new at the time. That was 2020 pretty much.
Okay.
And then I just started going to events pretty much and riding, doing group rides. We would have a group ride every Sunday. The first thing I attended was from Wheel Fun Stuff. They did a trick clinic, and that's what interested me the most. AJ from Wheel Fun Stuff pops out like a video of Kyle doing all these tricks, and I was like, I can do that. I want to learn to do that. I feel like I can do that. And then I went to the trick clinic and learned to do a body varial, and then I was like hooked. I was like, these tricks are so fun. And
Yeah.
then so really that got me into it, was knowing that they could do that. And then I found out that they can go on trails, and then found out about the racing, and then just started going to every event that I could. And Flux Movement was the first company to sponsor me, and they're really what kickstarted everything for me and allowed me to get to like all the events my first year of racing. So yeah. And then the rest is history.
Yeah, for real. It's crazy to think that you really got into it in 2020 and not even 3 years later. I mean, when was your first race for the rail?
20, 2022.
Okay, so
Wait,
2 years.
yeah,
2 years after.
maybe 2021.
That would be even
I
crazier.
I
Either
think so because
way.
I didn't make finals. I remember that I got past the first round and then got out in the next round, and
Okay.
then the next race was when I dislocated my shoulder,
Yep.
and then the next race was last year. So there's 3 years of race of the rails.
So, yeah, not so the next year after really getting involved, you were at Race for the Rail, which is a huge accomplishment. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
And I mean, it's pretty at that time, if you're a female racing, like if you're going to these ORL events, or well, I don't remember how they had it then, but
Mm-hmm.
it was a little more exposure because there's not so many female riders.
Sure.
And I think that is get more the difference. This past year we could see like not everyone made it to Race for the Rail that was
Yeah.
racing. It's like it's getting bigger and bigger, and more people are getting more competitive and more into the racing, and
Yeah.
people that have been riding for years that have never even showed up to any events are going to be coming out, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah. So how is that for you as like you watch the sport evolve? Do you still want to have a foot in to be at Race for the Rail every year, or does it make you go, the competition might be tough and I'm going to keep on doing my best to get there?
I mean both. I like
Yeah.
it's complicated. I feel like in previous race seasons I've put a lot of pressure on myself to perform well, to make every single race, to try to podium every single race, to get to Race to the Rail. And that's I don't think I want to do that as much anymore. A lot of it's because of my shoulder dislocations. As you may know, that has happened quite a few times.
Some people like
I
might know you by that.
I know. Literally, I'm just gonna be super flexible one day. Like I'm gonna be like throwing my arms in these crazy
Yeah.
positions. I don't know. But I stopped counting how many times my shoulders have dislocated because they just happen all the time now. And that's more of a priority for me right now. So what I plan to do this season is, there's certain races I love to do, like dirt surfers, like just because the style of the race. And I want to enjoy the events more for everything that's involved with them and not focus so much on the racing because to me that sucks the fun out of it, and it kind of, I don't want to say it ruins the like whole event for me, but it's like I'm focused so much on the racing and like trying to perform decently so I can make it to ORL racing.
Sure. Yeah.
Uh and it's, or I say racer rail, and I love doing tricks. That's what got me into one wheeling, and I don't even do the trick competitions half the time because I'm so focused on like wanting to save myself for the race, or like I'm too tired after the race if it's after, or like, it just kind of takes that from me, and so I want to, excuse me, I want to take it more like calmly, I guess, and then like have fun with the event, and if I feel like racing then I'll do it right then, but maybe not put so much pressure on myself to perform in any type of way. Just do what I do, and if it happens to bring me to Race for the Rail, I will do it, but I'm not making it a goal of mine to like I have to make it to Race for the Rail.
I think that's cool because I feel like in a competition of any sort, you need to be able to not have the weight of the world on your shoulders for it. And I think that that inevitably grows your mental capacity too. So I was going to say, you're just going to go out there and you're going to race, and you could end up, because it's just what you do, like you could end up going.
Yeah,
But I think, yeah, you never know.
you never know. Just have fun with it more instead of it. I've always been like it's fun. It is fun for me, but it's almost like I do still get very anxious with the racing and like all upcoming to the race, and I have that mindset to have fun, and like not like I if I do poorly, I'm not gonna be like pissed at myself because I tried my hardest.
Yeah.
So I like it's not that big of a deal for me. But yeah, I don't. It's complicated because I want to participate in everything, and I still want to be like active in one wheel stuff. But
Yeah.
the racing doesn't quite interest me as much, and also with like, there's so much like I'm gonna use the term politics now going on with the boards and stuff, and it's honestly I think it's a little unfair that they're allowing GTSs and then not allowing VESC to compete with them. It's pretty much like you have to have this board to compete. And if not, it's like there's a disadvantage, definitely. And it's now pay to play, and which is not cool to me. And it's being more restrictive, and I don't like that.
I'm sure people love hearing your opinion about that. I mean, this is a constant topic of conversation on Wednesdays, and we're a podcast to bring all things One Wheel. So like the politics are there, the opinions are there, and I mean, even getting to hear from you guys as the racers, you were a huge face in the racing league, and whether or not that changes, you always will be one of the history makers, like
Iconic, baby,
yeah,
always.
she's the she's the one who pops her shoulder out all the time. The one who,
Hey,
yeah, someone actually is wondering about your tooth gem, which he said tooth
it's gone.
diamond. Is it
It's
gone? Why is it
gone. Yeah,
gone?
I took it off. I didn't want it anymore.
It was super cute. I mean, but that's like, you're known as a lot more than just, I mean, just a one wheel racer. And I think that people even in the chat will probably value hearing that from you. And I mean, either way, like we're going to be in it to see what happens. And so it's good to hear that you're going to be in it to see what happens, because and it is obvious that it's because of the community and because of, you got involved with Wheel Fun stuff because of community and because there were all these people riding their one wheels and you wanted to know what was up with that. And so it goes a little, I mean, even after my past year of being involved in races, you can tell that it goes past just the race. It's the sense of community that you really don't have unless you seek it out,
Yeah, I could see that. The community is definitely the biggest part. If you talk to pretty much anyone that attends all these events, they're gonna say that's the best part of going is
Yeah.
the community. So, and it's just finding your part of the community. Like, there's so many areas of one wheeling that doesn't have to be just racing. And to me, that's not what one wheeling's about. Racing, that's just a small part of it.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
I don't want to focus on that so much this year. And yeah, I just do the ones that I feel like I want to do. And I'll probably do more trick competitions, which is still risky with my shoulders. Let's not that twisted. But I would rather deal with it that way than falling on a trail and slamming when it's more like my fault. I feel like when I'm doing tricks, like more I can judge it more versus like ripping down a trail as fast as I can to try to get first or podium or whatever, and then I
Sure, yeah.
am pushing so hard and I hit a rock wrong and now I landed on my shoulder. And wow, if I would have just taken it a little calmer versus calculating your tricks. And yeah, it's about how you do it. You're setting yourself up for that and either land it or you don't.
Yeah, and I love that you say one wheel isn't just the racing, it's a small part of it. It's a section of it, but there's so many people that watch on Wednesdays that didn't even know racing existed. So there's probably some people who didn't know that one wheel trick competitions exist. So how can you educate us more on that side of the one wheeling world?
Yeah, that's an even smaller part than racing. I would yeah, there's usually at every one wheel event there is some type of trick competition, where they'll have like little like ramps or slide blocks, bunk blocks, little drop things, and you just get creative and like they're almost like skateboard tricks that have been redone in one wheel form, and people are always creating new tricks and new combinations and add in some stees in there. It's really fun to watch the tricks and what people can do with these
Allie,
boards.
for those who don't know what steez means, will you explain?
Stees, Riz if you're younger.
Yeah. Yeah. Like style, right? Like
Yeah, like
your
style,
own little
yeah, like anyone can do a body varial and jump around, but how cool can you make that look?
yeah. Okay, this might be hard like talking about yourself, but how good do you think you are on that side of things in trick competitions?
I definitely like it. I'm a little slop tart sometimes, and like it's like hard for me to land stuff cleanly. But I would say I'm decently fun to watch doing trick and riding, and I think it looks steezy enough generally. There may be like some things I do and I'm like, ooh, and I can even feel I'm like, ooh, that was like a little sloppy.
Yeah.
But that's the fun part about tricks is learning to clean them up and have more control of the board and just making it your style.
Yeah, that's awesome. We have some comments in the chat. Max Riviola says, I always look up to Allie when it comes to street tricks. She's so dope, and I wish I could do half those tricks.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And
I love
then
my little, they're fun.
then Sean Paul says, the trick competition elements are largely ignored by Future Motion. It's going to be interesting to see how things change with the team. And I even think, like, when you first said it's even smaller, we were started talking about the trick competitions, it's an even smaller part of the Onewheel, like, existence. I got excited because I'm like, well, I can't wait to see how that evolves. I can't wait to see how what you do. I mean, Allie, you and Kyle are doing you can explain it more, but at the Lemonade Float Fest / Dirt Surfers in Austin in April, you guys are doing a trick. What is it called on the website?
Trick
Clinic. Yeah, and it's like those, and I
Yeah.
want to hear more about that because I'm gonna be there. And honestly, I didn't until just now. I wasn't like, I'm so excited for that. I'm so excited to watch that. But maybe I'll participate. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's like it's exciting to think about where it will go in just a few short years because it's so constantly evolving. And I think as you continue to do, like, truly it's obvious that you're more passionate about the trick side of things and the racing side of things. If you pour all your energy into that, who might you inspire to try?
Yeah, I'm not the only. If I got into it from seeing a guy do tricks on a Onewheel, imagine like seeing a girl do a bunch of cool tricks. It's even more acceptable for other women. And,
Yeah,
like, more reachable for them.
for sure.
And with the clinics, that's one I've always been into the tricks more. The racing is so fun because it's reckless and it's fun to go very fast aside from all that, the clinics are definitely where I feel like I could pour more energy into. I have different clinics at some other events prior, and people have paid me to teach their kids stuff, and
Oh my gosh,
yeah, it's like
that's
I'd go
awesome.
up and they had it was Kyle and I both, they paid both of us because they had a boy and a girl, and they wanted a girl coach.
Oh
So I'm
yeah,
like, that's so fun to do. I would love to spread my knowledge and try to help someone reach something they're wanting to do.
that's
But
so
for
cool.
we are doing like a little trick clinic. I guess I don't know. I didn't look at the times yet. I do everything on it, but I'm guessing they're gonna be separate trick clinics, and I usually when I'm doing one, it's mainly for women, but obviously open to anyone who's trying to learn the tricks that I'm doing. But that could be really anyone, but I want women to feel comfortable learning them, because sometimes when there's like just a general trick clinic, the men do kind of they know how to do the stuff more and can
Okay.
take over, and then they do snake in and take the line sometimes, and you have to sit there and wait. So
None of us are that bold to just like go for it.
Oh, I definitely will. I'm like, excuse me, I was next.
I love it. I love it. That's what you're
But,
teaching everyone else to do.
yeah, so it's fun, and I would love to see more people getting into tricks. I do see it more, and like really the people I mainly see is me and Cecil have been doing it for a few years consistently.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's like I see people do here and there doing tricks, but it'd be fun to have actual competitions, like big competitions, like X Games style or something.
Yeah. That would be
I've
amazing.
I talked to Future Motion about that years back, and stressed that importance, because that will only benefit them too if they can bring that audience. That if they got me into Onewheeling more, like putting my energy into Onewheeling and like being so passionate about it because of seeing the tricks, and I'm sure there's like hundreds of thousands of other
You're not the
people
only one.
Yeah.
For sure. So
So,
you will be at Dirt Surfers in May in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. You'll be at Dirt Surfers / Lemonade Float Fest in April in Austin, Texas. Where else might we see you that you know of right now?
Well, this month, February, we have Wheel Fun Weekend. I guess the fourth one now. Yeah. So
Awesome.
fourth Wheel Fun Weekend, February 15th to the 18th.
Cool.
Whatever that
That's
Sunday
coming
is.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like a we have a day we go to the roller rink and we do one wheel around it. It's have like a little party. It's kind of
Oh, it's
fun.
so
We
fun.
have like as well put like little slide blocks up, or you can also roller skate if you want. But we have the whole place rented out.
Cool.
And then we do the party at Wheel Fun Stuff where we have DJ and like vendors, all that, trick competition, fun races, and then we have the main race at the Kearney Mesa BMX track, the pump
Wow.
track,
Yes.
getting them working.
Yes, I
And
remember seeing videos of that last year. It
yeah,
looks
and then
wild.
other than that, the other event I always am gonna make it to is Shredfest. That's Dirt Surfers Shredfest. Obviously, fun weekend because I'm here. Are always on top of my list.
Yeah.
And then from there, it just depends on what I can make it to.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's so exciting. The Wheel Fun weekend is coming up. So that'll be really fun.
Definitely. I don't know we never know till like last minute, and then everyone buys the tickets and you're like, oh, there's actually gonna be a bunch of people here.
Yeah. Well, there you go. If you're listening and if you're in the San Diego area or close by, make sure you get your tickets. Where can they get tickets, Allie?
15th to the 18th, Eventbrite. If you go on to Wheel Fun Stuff's Instagram, I'm sure they have some type of link there. But you can Google Wheel Fun Weekend 4 San Diego Eventbrite, and there should be a link there. Get some tickets. Come say hi. Come do a trick competition and some fun races and some pump track racing.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. That sounds so fun. Okay, one person did want to know, since we were talking about street tricks, what tire would Allie recommend for tricks? What tire would Allie recommend?
I'm not big on like picking specific tires. I just recently got into like changing the tires on my board and trying to pay attention to how they ride. I don't know why. I rode the Vega for years.
I remember that when we first started. When we first started interviewing you, we were so surprised at how much like you didn't mod anything, because I think you go into it with expectations of like they're a pro, like they know it. Not that you didn't know, but like I just liked that about you, that it was like I just ride my board. I don't know.
I do so now. I don't even know what tires on my board right now. I actually didn't get off the Vega till the Float Life came out with the Enduro, and then I've had the Enduro on for so long, and then the Onewheel Performance tire kind of blew my expectations away. So I enjoy that. I do like the Onewheel Future Motion. I don't even know what it's called. That tire that they came out with for Race to the Rail. Okay. That one's fun. I like that as a general tire. It's fine for tricks. Anything very treaded feels too like. I don't like the way it feels doing tricks. So anything slick or like a mildly treaded, like Enduro or
like the Enduro.
Yeah, one of those is fine. I think I have a Street Pro on my board right now, or maybe even a Burris Slick on one of my XRs. I'm looking at it, but I'm so bad at tires, I don't even know.
It's all good. I love it. I think go for it.
Oh, and I prefer my straight rails always with tricks, like just a normal XR with a slickish tire and straight rails, bang bumpers.
Cool. Love it. She's giving you guys the way to go for tricks. So, okay, we've talked about a couple of things. We did have someone in the chat here say, just sign up for my first race, Dirt Surfers, me and my 12-year-old. So I'm assuming, if you're still here, Matthew, that your 12-year-old is also racing. Allie, like, we have so many people that are gonna be racing for the first time. We have people that are training for like they've raced before, but now they're like literally, like they're legitimately training for these races. So what advice do you have or encouragement do you have for some of those first-time racers if you put yourself back to what that was like when you started?
Yeah, and I'm always gonna have the same advice of always to have fun with it, because that really is the hardest thing to do mentally, and overcome any like pressures you put on yourself or allow other people to put on you. So really just having fun with what you're doing and ride the board like you always ride at home, and try not to let how someone else's performance change how you're doing, because it's a long race usually, and there's plenty of times to catch up. If you see someone passing you, there's usually plenty of more time to make a comeback. So not my biggest mistake with first racing was just pushing it as hard as I can, and that's not really the way to go always. So just do your normal riding, like what feels good to you, and if you're flowy, then you're probably fast.
Yeah, I love that. And I mean, even if dirt surfers is their first race, being an enduro style race where it's, you go not, I mean, it's at your own pace. Obviously, you want it to be fast, but like you don't have people beside you and passing you unless, you're going slow and someone comes up behind you. But I think that that's a less intimidating way to start. I've actually never done, besides with our fun YouTube channel races, I've never done one where you all start at the same time, and to me that seems so scary.
It is. That one's that it's hard. It's hard because it's scary, but you can see where everyone's at. So you're like, oh, I know I can go a little faster here, or like sometimes you do misjudge it, and you're like, oh no, because you're like just trying to go. But like it is almost you can see how you're doing in that sense.
Sure.
But I have some advice for dirt surfers in specific. With that one, really just stay on your board because on that race there's so many opportunities to lose your board down the mountain, and
It's
that
so
happens
true.
year. Every year people get too uppity and trying to go really fast, and they slip out and their board's gone, and that there's your time, you're done. Like,
Right.
and so it's better just to stay on your board and ride it how you're comfortable in that race.
Yeah.
I won that race on an XR that when GTs first came out, or not one, I think I got second because it's hard
That's
to beat
awesome.
Pain.
Yeah, it
and,
is.
and
It is.
I believe I was on an XR then too, and everyone else had like GTs, and I was like, I love my XR, but it's not always about the board in certain races. Some
Yeah.
races it definitely benefits you, and like now when it's a different case with the S's, definitely have more power and literally go faster. So it's I don't know. I think they should allow VESC too, but that's
Yeah, I
personal opinion.
mean, yeah, we will see, especially with some of these open races, what will come. I mean, being at Windman this past year where there was a best category, it was one of the first times where we got to see that. So I guess we will see.
Yeah. It'd be cool if they had that part of like being able to make it to this big main race, and it's like you get the prize if your board wins because you have the fastest one wheel, and it's not necessarily a GTS, but it's your own type of one wheel that fits within standards.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
guess we'll see. We'll see. I mean, it's hard to know. So we can look back on this podcast and be like, look, we were dreaming of this, or look at how it changed. So I know that that is a very dominant opinion in the one wheel world, even from just being here on Wednesdays and getting to hear people, which is, I love that about this podcast because I don't have a differing opinion. I'm not like solidly on one side or another, And so I mean, I
You're just
know
here
what
to
it,
broadcast it.
yeah, we're here to broadcast it. And I know what it's like to be passionate about something. And so it's nice to be able to have like a place, and I've heard, I don't know, Allie, if you've ever been on like the Discord forums or like Reddit or any of those places where a lot of people here in this chat on Wednesdays have talked about how like honestly toxic it can be in those environments. And so I don't know, I've not gone in those platforms before, but what I see here is a place where people can just share in in a way that's not like you're going to get attacked for that or we're going to attack you. So I don't know. I'm
There's a way
grateful
to have
that.
and share it, and also maybe not agree with someone's opinion, but accept it, or uh, yeah. So
I mean,
I do see that
it's
on
literally
the
life.
anyone there. It's easy to be bold behind a keyboard.
Yes, it is. But isn't that life where that's all of life, not just one wheeling, where, learning how to share your opinion kindly is an important thing to do.
I can work on that myself too. I can't say I'm perfect with that. We're
I'm not
human.
either. Especially when like you feel right, like,
Yeah.
like I am right about this topic. So yeah, it's hard. But anyways,
In your perspective, you are, and that.
yeah. Oh my gosh, for sure. So, okay, so we know where to expect to see you. Is Kyle, how are you and Kyle? Is he gonna be at those races with you? Look at that smile.
We're good. Yeah, he'll be at all those with me, and I believe he's going to Let It Ride. I'm not too sure if I'm going to Let It Ride yet. So,
That's sooner, right, than the
no,
Wheel Fun weekend? Oh no, it's not.
no, yeah, it's March, like mid March, 14th, 15th, somewhere around there.
And that
For,
is, I know Let It Ride is in Vegas, the Vegas
mhm.
area. So, that's probably a bit of a drive for you, right?
Not too far. I think
Okay.
it's like 6 hours, maybe. Like
Oh,
it's can be
that's not
done.
bad.
Like it's under 10 hours. Yeah. Um,
Cool.
and yeah, that's an easy trip. So that's the only reason urging me to go there. But I just don't really feel like racing that big hill. I'm gonna be honest.
That huge hill. Would it be fun for you to still go and not race, or is that weird? Is that hard?
I, you know, it. That's what I'm trying to figure out because
Yeah.
I love Vegas and I love the Wheels and Rides crew, and every time I'm there it's so much fun, and everything else about going over there and like the strip ride and everything really late at night is so much
Yeah.
fun. Um but I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out if I like want to go or not, or like seeing what it is, and I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out.
What if they said we want you to do a trick clinic? Would you do it?
Oh, I would have to go.
Okay, you heard it here. If you're watching Let It Ride, people, Allie will come and do a trick clinic.
Your clinics are great. Yeah.
That would be
Um, I
awesome.
I would do that at every event if I could make it. Yeah.
That's awesome. So I am leaning toward doing the trick clinic with you since you're doing it.
You
And I
should.
didn't I didn't realize, I mean, it's kind of like, why wouldn't I? But I'm also way less intimidated hearing, like, obviously guys are allowed, but you are passionate about it being ladies and teaching
If
them.
it's a guy coming, it would have to be someone who's never done tricks. Like they don't know what
Yeah.
they're like. You know, there's like kids trying to come do it, and maybe it's hard to talk with because there's a bunch of the guys. I don't know. I've taught like younger people that are coming in, and they're very like letting the ladies do their thing.
Okay.
But definitely mainly, my focus is going to be on the women coming to do tricks. But
Sweet.
I'm open that anyone new at tricks is probably it'd be fine like learning from me because
Cool.
most entering I think would be doing more new tricks anyways, so focusing on like those basic tricks.
Yeah. Are you also racing that weekend or no?
I believe
Okay.
so.
Cool.
We'll figure it out. I
Maybe,
believe
maybe
so.
not.
I do. Okay, so really the thing is I just need to figure out how it's a mental switch of like not needing to perform decently. Like I don't care to win necessarily, but I always like to like maybe podium or something.
Of
But like
course. Who doesn't like
like
that?
I get a little check and it's like, woo, cool, I did something, I did okay at this. But I don't need to, I don't really care. My passion's not there with that, so I need to not focus on that. And like, if just, for maybe just do it just to do it and
Yeah.
not care where I'm putting myself on the
Yeah.
list. Yeah.
I think this is going to be a good year for you, even just as a growth year, mentally,
Yeah.
and to not, like, if you feel pressure to be racing, is that coming from you? Is it coming from others? And just sticking to what you feel is best for you, you know?
It is hard because like I feel like I try to be really easy on myself. Like I don't like I'm not like you need to do this, but I have a hard time when other people I start like being like, "Oh, I'm so sorry you didn't get podium or something." I don't know. And I'm like,
Mm.
"I wasn't sorry, but now I'm hearing
Yeah.
this from someone else." So I'm like, "Should I be?" So like I have a hard time like balancing those emotions from other people,
Mm.
even if I don't feel that way, like but they're just it's almost like I'm hearing multiple people say different negative comments, I
Sure.
guess, or like something I didn't even think about until they said it, and I'm
Mm.
like, I hate being observed that way, I guess, like it feels like I'm being watched really hard or something,
Yeah.
or like
I could see
they're like,
that.
why aren't you doing this, and I'm like, because I'm chilling, like, why are you worried?
Yeah. And I think that you have for one, you've been a presence in the racing community of a female racer, right? Like who podiums. So you have that. But also on top of that, you're fun, you're bubbly, you're light where you go. And so I think people want to anticipate that, but you also have to be able, and this is my opinion, but you have to be able to step back if you want to, and I think that even being here and sharing your heart in that, hopefully if you're here in the chat and would normally ask Allie one of those questions after a race, then don't this year. Or just say, hey, it's good to see you out there. You know what I mean? Like, we should demolish those expectations. She says I'm fragile. But ultimately, Allie, and whoever is watching, what people think of us is the least of importance. So we need to do.
I think I'm pretty cool, so
You are amazing. Guys, she cut and dyed her own hair. She's really freaking cool.
I sure did. I don't know if I'm losing it or if I'm getting creative,
I would go toward creative. This
was fun. This is like, I picked the right purple too because it's really bright. So
it's super bright. It's so cute. Creative, that screams creative. I love it. This is her creative year. We'll see the art that comes from it.
I'm excited to watch how the sport grows. Every year I see it evolving. So I'm here for it. However it goes, I'm here to support all my friends and just make new connections and further my connections with other people and just seeing what else I can get into in the future with one-wheeling, whether it be racing or something completely different from that.
We'll advocate for the tricks.
Too, so we'll see what we can do.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Allie, it's been so fun hanging. For real. Yeah. I'm glad we got to hear like your perspective and your heart on the upcoming racing season. And I think it's cool to have a little bit of a different mindset going into 2024.
Yeah, trying something new. Yeah.
Trying something new. Okay, any last final thoughts, encouragements to people watching today? Obviously, it is a little bit shorter because I don't have anything to give away to you guys today. Allie, we've been doing tons of giveaways on the podcast. We gave Chameleon Rail sent us a box of so much stuff. And so we've been giving away
stuff for days.
We've had stuff for days. I've gone to the post office every week for the past 4 weeks. I'm a regular there now. Yeah, I know the people who work there.
That's why you got a good crowd coming in.
Yeah, they're coming for the giveaways. But I hope, I will say this prematurely, but I hope next week we'll be able to have some giveaways for you guys. So come back. Scott will be back. Allie, I think after hearing this podcast, Scott and Holly are going to want to have you back and chat with you themselves too. I think they're going to have a little bit of jealousy. Yeah.
That's usually how it goes when we have a podcast. So I get called the next week to come on.
Yeah, we want to see you again. I mean, we've done this before where it's just you and I, which I love because you're so easy to talk to. Sometimes, everyone we have on here is easy to talk to, but I can see, if I'm carrying on all the conversation, it could be tough.
Yeah, you feel the ones you're like, come on, pick it up.
Yeah, and because I'm doing all the technology, Allie's willing to say hello to everyone and introduce me, which I thought was hilarious. I'm like, no, you're the guest. You're the guest. I don't even think I introduced you.
Did I introduce you? And you're like, no, don't introduce me. And I didn't
I'm not used to being introduced, but I don't even think I actually formally introduced you, so I apologize for that. What a horrible, what am I, a host? I'm a host.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I introduced myself. It was cool.
Yeah, you did. Someone in the chat, this is cool. Christy Miller says, Allie is always inspiring. She has encouraged me and helped my daughter Zoe so much over the past few years. Zoe even jumped over her once at Float Life Fest. Pretty epic. Zoe says hello too.
I wish we had the whole crew here so they could pull up that video because it's posted somewhere. That was sweet. Zoe inspires me. She's crazy. Like, that little girl is gonna be so fast when she gets into the pros.
Awesome.
But yeah, I trusted her completely to jump on one wheel over my body.
That's amazing. I love it. Well, thank you, Allie. I'm sure people could hang in the chat. Someone says, where the mender? I'm guessing you're asking where Scott is. Scott and his whole family are down at Dirt Surfers getting ready I guess they're probably training, but they're hanging with Rachel and Nick down there, and we bring a crew to help them put the event on. So we're kind of getting ready for that. And I stayed back this time, so literally just to do
Just
this
to do this.
podcast, just to do
Yeah.
this. This is the only reason. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, she
But
texted me, was like, hey, I was gonna go help at Dirt Surfers, but I really want to do a podcast with you, Allie. And I said, yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's it for sure. Well, it was fun. We will have you back on here, and we'll for sure see you. If you are subscribed to this channel, which you should do, why wouldn't you? You will see footage of us at the trick clinic. Maybe I'll do my own video of us at the trick clinic, and Allie teaching all of the ladies tricks. So be sure to stay tuned for that. And of the races that you are planning to go to, the Allie is, make sure you say hi, give her some encouragement, and just know that you're supporting her in her endeavors. Does that sound good?
Yes, that's sweet. Those are good words. And
Good.
yeah, see you at Fun Weekend coming up February 15th to the 18th, and then Lemonade Float Fest after that, and come to the Trick Clinic.
That's right. Okay, I know that was kind of your goodbye, but remember how we planned? I'm going to leave the shot and you're going to say bye to everyone. So this
yeah,
is
right.
Allie's final and formal goodbye. This is also my final and formal goodbye. I have to end the stream on the computer. That's a little ways away. So I love you all. I will see you next week. Allie, do you want to say goodbye to everyone?
Yes. Bye, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button here on the Scot Mendenhall and Friends podcast, and tune in. Maybe in a few weeks, you might see me here again.